Welcome, Vesterheim viewers. My name is Chris Johnson. I am the president and CEO here at Vesterheim. And we're back for another Facebook Live update about Vesterheim Commons. I've got a special guest today. This is Ruth Schultz, who is the chair of our board of trustees. If you want to say hi to everybody here today.
Well, Chris, thank you. Yes, it's just a great privilege to be here today and see the developments of this beautiful building and how it's progressing. And it's exciting to be a part of this project. I bring you greetings from the entire board of trustees, and we're so glad to get a sneak peek of this building today. As I look around, I see that wood is a very prominent element of this space. Can you tell a little bit about that and how it fits into the story of this building?
You bet, you bet. Well, as we were thinking about how to design Vesterheim Commons, one of the considerations was what kind of identity did we want to have with this building? And certainly working with Snøhetta, there's a strong Scandinavian design with the structure. But we also thought about where we came from as an organization and thinking about the collections that we have, like our outbuildings that are out here in Heritage Park, the woodworking pieces that we have. We have a lot of wood on site. And so it felt like a real natural thing to look at that from an approach. And there's several advantages that we have to using wood as an element here. First of all, it's going to lend really nice warmth to the space here. So this is an exposed glue laminated timber, and you're going to see that in different parts of the building as you go through here. So it gives a nice warmth to what we're doing. The other part of it helps us with our sustainability goals to the project as well. So we wanted to really think about how we use energy in this building, but also what was the energy used to make this building as well. And so these timbers are all made in the region here in Albert Lea, Minnesota. And they were in a factory situation where they were all assembled and then brought down here. And it was kind of funny when they started to put this together. It was probably about mid-August when we started to erect the framework for this structure. And within a month's time, the whole basic superstructure of the building was up and visible for everybody to see. These are made from Douglas fir, which is a type of tree that's easy to regrow. So it's a renewable product as well. And so it just helped in thinking about sort of the design goals for this project. So the structural element is something that you see within the building with these wood timbers. It creates a really honest, open design for what we're doing here. We have other wood within the building as well, though. In the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about all of the electrical conduit and plumbing and all of those lines that you can see that are up here. All of that needed to go in first, because what's happening now is if you look up here, you can see the wood slat ceiling that's going on, and that's being snapped into this grid up here. And this is all made from Western red cedar, and cedar is also going to continue out underneath the canopy as well. And so it's just going to be a continuous kind of flow of wood coming into even this final oculus here, which will all be trimmed out with wood as well. So this conceals all of the necessary piping, electrical conduits, all of that are part and parcel of running this building itself. So there's some additional wood pieces, though, within this building that we want to talk about. And let's go on up to the second floor to see that. So here we are coming up on the second floor of Vesterheim Commons, and you can see this space is really starting to take shape. This is going to be the future exhibition gallery in this space. And now we see the flooring starting to go in. This is all white oak flooring that's going in here. Again, nice clean lines for it. It's a piece that will allow for, again, conveying that warmth of what we're doing here. And then finally, you can see up above us, our contractors are starting to install things like the light fixtures up here and also the fire suppression system up in this area. And this is not only an aesthetic piece that you see, these wood planks, but it's also structural. So these are essentially large slabs of wood that have been put together, and that forms basically the floor joist for the ceiling above us here. So wood is a really strong component of this building, and it's been a really important part in thinking about what we want to convey with the design of Vesterheim Commons. So Ruth, your role as the chair of the Board of Trustees, you chair a board of trustees from all over the country here. Maybe you can talk a little bit about kind of the vision for where we see this building going and the work that the trustees have been doing with this as well.
Sure, be happy to share that. Thank you, Chris. So what's interesting to think about with this particular building is it did not start, the planning did not start just 4 years ago with the architectural team. There were a group of trustees and staff who had the foresight over a decade ago to realize that this site was a very important part of the Vesterheim campus, and yet Vesterheim did not own this particular property. So they had the foresight to purchase the property when it became available because they recognized that it was right in the middle of our Water Street frontage and also central to our entire campus. And that became a very important part as we saw the vision for this building, that this could become the welcome center for the campus, and that it would be your first point of arrival when you came as a visitor to experience Vesterheim. And so it was important to identify that. So the soaring canopy on Water Street basically conveys you've arrived, and the floor-to-ceiling windows allow you to see into the building. You're greeted at the reception area by a concierge who will help you plan your Vesterheim experience, whether you want to go west to the museum to see the latest exhibition, east to the folk art school and have a class, or north outside to Heritage Park. And so that was the location was really an essential part of the vision of what this would mean to Vesterheim.
It's sort of the old adage of acquiring this property, the old adage, they're not making any more land. So let's acquire this.
That's so true. And we are so thankful for those trustees and the staff who had the vision, a decade ago, that this was an essential component of the campus. The other part that was really important in the development for the vision of the property was that the space that we just saw downstairs, that welcome area, the gathering space, that was really the core or the heart of the project. And it was envisioned as a flex space where you could have a pop-up folk art class, you could have a cup of coffee after a tour, you could attend a lecture or a gallery talk or even a folk art concert for a small venue and it would serve many purposes for spaces that we didn't have elsewhere on campus. So that was kind of an exciting feature of it. And then, the next part of the vision was to connect to the beautiful nature that surrounds Decorah and the Vesterheim campus. Through this window, you can see the beautiful bluffs of the Upper Iowa River. You can experience the beautiful Heritage Park, and that indoor-outdoor experience was a really important part of what was envisioned for the project. And then finally, this was something that kind of evolved through the pandemic. And I think Chris has talked about this earlier, that during the pandemic, Vesterheim's audience actually grew because we connected to the audience digitally. So that was a really important part of this building because it was for the Decorah community and the surrounding area, but it also was a place for our online community. Because if you attend a lecture downstairs in the gathering room, you can do so in person, or you could also experience that online and watch it at the same time as it's simulcast to our digital, through our digital experience. So that was a really important part. So, and I think that also kind of ties into the idea that obviously Vesterheim is rooted in its traditions, our ties to our Norwegian heritage, the collection and the beautiful objects, and the traditions of the folk art craft. But we also are thinking about the future. Connections to Norway, connections to this broader audience that we've gained through our online programming. And that's a really important part. And I think that's how we arrived on the concept of the campaign, that it was strong roots and bold future. And both elements are absolutely essential to the success of the organization. And that's what's exciting about this. And we hope that you will consider being a part of this project and what it means for Vesterheim, being part of our strong roots and the ties to our Norwegian heritage, but also part of that bold future that reaches out to the greater community. Chris, maybe you can tell a little bit more about this. Yeah.
You bet. Well, and I think I get inspired by it thinking about like the space here with our new exhibition gallery that's going to be opening up here, and imagining all the people coming in and seeing the beautiful things on display here. We are still in the midst of our fundraising campaign for Vesterheim Commons, and we have a special, kind of a special deal going on right now, and that is we have a matching challenge that's been presented where if you can pledge a gift of $1,000 or more to the Strong Roots Bold Future campaign, that contribution will be matched dollar for dollar. And so we're very excited about that matching challenge and what that can do for our campaign. We're on track to complete this project later this spring, and our plan is to have formal dedication for this at the end of September, and then a soft opening later on this summer. So you will get a chance to enjoy this facility, but I encourage all of you, if you have not made a contribution here to this campaign, to consider doing that. It's something that you can really be part of, and something that's a legacy that'll live on for generations to come. So first of all, thank you, Ruth, for joining us today and explaining a little bit about the work that the trustees have been doing here. And thank you all for joining us today on this Facebook Live. And we'll see you more of you down the road here. Coming up here, I think we're going to be spending our next Facebook Live, weather permitting, probably outside. We'll talk about some of the outside features of Vesterheim Commons. So with that, I hope you all have a great day, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Thank you.